Hi everyone, this is Clint from Persuasive Evangelism, and today we're going to go over another ancient document outside the Bible with references to Christians, the 12 Caesars by Suetonius. It was written in 121 AD, published in 121 AD. He was a Roman historian, and the book's about the first 12 Caesars of the Roman Empire. And researching this, I found out he's a friend of Pliny the Younger. I did a video on the letters of Pliny the Younger the other day. Pliny helped him get a house. And there's several letters that Pliny wrote to him, which I'll read a little bit in this one, which I reviewed the other day. So he's writing to the emperor, talking about Suetonius, and he goes, the letter starts, Suetonius, sir, is not only a very fine scholar, but also a man of the highest integrity and distinction. I have long admired his character and literary abilities, and since he has become my close friend, I now have an opportunity to know him intimately. I have learned to value him the more. So he had a high regard for Suetonius, Pliny does. Now, in Pliny the Younger, there's a lot of great information about Christians in it, because Christianity was expanding quickly in the province he ran, which was Bithynia, northern Turkey, the shores of the Black Sea, southern shores of the Black Sea, and Christianity was spreading so fast the temples were emptying out, the Roman temples, and Romans, non-Romans, people of all ages were becoming Christians, and he was torturing them, putting them on trial, executing them, and he was writing letters to the emperor Trajan to see if this was the correct course of action. Now, in Suetonius, there's not as much information. There's just a couple references. He's more focused on the lives of the Caesars, and he gives a lot of gossip details, all the scandals and the betrayals, murders, and so on in it. So there's only a couple of references. So let's go over the first one. So the first reference is in the chapter about Emperor Claudius. So Emperor Claudius reigned in 41 to 54 AD. So right when the apostles were spreading the great news of Christ, his reign ended. He was most likely poisoned by his wife, and some think Nero was also involved with it. So the first reference, it's just one line, but it's interesting. It says, and scholars think this might have happened around maybe the late 40s AD, but it says, because the Jews at Rome caused continuous disturbances at the instigation of Chrestus, he expelled them from the city. They think Chrestus was another name for Christ. So Claudius expelled all the Jews from Rome. Now, what's interesting is there's a reference to that in the Bible in Acts. Acts 18, 1-2. So I'll read this. It's talking about the Apostle Paul. So it says, after this, Paul left Athens and went to Corinth, and he found a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because Claudius had commanded all the Jews to leave Rome, and he went to see them. So that's another reference in the Bible about Claudius expelling the Jews, and then in this, the 12 Caesars also, so pretty interesting. And then the other reference to Christians is in the chapter about Nero. Nero reigned from 54 to 68 AD. He committed suicide. Everyone was betraying him. He was crazy, he was wicked, and he was creating, people were rebelling against him, and he committed suicide. So let's see. So this reference is, it says, punishments were inflicted on the Christians, a sect professing a new and mischievous superstition. So this probably happened in the 60s AD. There's other references in other books about how Nero blamed the Christians when Rome burned down, even though some blamed him that he was at fault with it, so he punished the Christians. So it doesn't say that in this reference, it just says punishments were inflicted on the Christians, a sect professing a new mischievous superstition. So those are the only two references of Christianity, but it's pretty early references. The book was published in 121 AD, so a little over 20 years after the last apostle John died, who died in probably the late 90s AD, so pretty close to the apostles. Now, Suetonius published this book in 121 AD. He died the next year in 122 AD. So that's all I had for this. Not a lot of information, but there's 2 lines of reference to Christians in this early non-Christian source. So that's all I had for this book. Thanks, everyone. And if you're interested in it, it's The 12 Caesars by Suetonius. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. God bless.